On the air since 1951. This is The Legend. 105.3, 95.3, WDXE.
Hey, that's us, WDXE, and it's time for the Keith Durham Hour, brought to you by Heritage Automotive, and the gang's all here.
It's that time again. Wow. Man, we got a special guest with us today, and we're going to be talking to him. And so before we get started, I wanted to, I waited till the last thing last week to do our Bible verse, and I want to do it the first thing today. And this is pertinent for what's going on in the world today. Mm-hmm. So I don't know where you guys stand on what's going on in the Middle East, but I stand with Israel. And I simply do that because in Scripture, it says this, the Bible says this, Genesis 12:3 says, I will bless those who bless you. He's talking about the nation of Israel. Mm-hmm. I'll bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse.
That's right.
And so, anyway, I'll take the Lord at His word, and I'll stand with Israel on that. So, I don't know where you guys stand, but that's where I am. So,
well, I agree with you wholeheartedly, 100%. They are a favored people, whether we like it or not. They have been favored and chosen by God from the very get-go.
That's right, and they were chosen as a people that we may be blessed through them, that's and right. We were through Jesus Christ.
That's
and
right.
So, anyway. We have a special guest with us today, and do you know the guy sitting right in front of you?
I happen to know this guy.
You happen to know this guy.
I've seen him around and heard of him, and most people around Lawrenceburg and Lawrence County have been hearing about him.
That's right. Most people say, we've met. Now, listen, I've had the privilege of knowing Landon. Landon Saunders is our guest today, and I've had the privilege of knowing him for many years now. Take this. I hope you take this as a compliment. You might be the biggest nerd I know, and I say that because I'm a nerd. I like to nerd out. So you and I are going to nerd out a little bit today, if that's okay.
I'm looking forward to it.
So Landon is our guest today, and he runs a company here in town, which I am a customer of.
Yes,
and
I am too, as a matter of fact.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. And so we want to talk about the business that he runs, and we don't want to make it a commercial as much as we want to make it a come to get to know you and what you do type thing.
Absolutely.
And so let's talk about your company. Cloud9 is the name of your company. Tell us about Cloud9 a little bit, and maybe a little bit about yourself too. I mean, you're not from Mars, are you, or nothing like that?
No. But so Cloud9 I started about in 2019 actually. Kevin Wright was running ABG Wireless at the time. And he was looking to get out of the wireless business. It's a very stressful business with forms and managing, a network of towers. So I decided that, that's something that gives me like a stepping stone moving forward. So I decided to acquire ABG, and then we made a bunch of upgrades, and then COVID hit. And, that was a really trying time for the world of internet.
Yeah.
Everybody needed more access at home, and that really pushed the internet companies to move forward so much faster than what trajectory they were currently on.
I guess I overlooked. I knew that, I guess, but being in a situation like we are at work, we had internet, and so we didn't miss it. But the kids were all at home.
Oh, yeah.
And my son, throughout the process, my son and my daughter both were given a tablet from the school system.
Absolutely, yep.
And so they started getting online to do their homework. So I see what you're saying now is that all of a sudden, almost overnight, the need for internet service at your house grew, especially here in Lawrence County.
Right. I basically planned out 10 years, what I wanted to do in 10 years as far as upgrades.
Yeah.
And I did all that in a year. So that's just how that goes.
Kevin's that ever happened to you?
Yeah.
I tell you.
I wish that would happen with me and losing weight.
Oh yeah, me too. Oh me. I'm on the slow plan for losing weight, so I'm with you, Jeff. Hey, before we get into talking about nerdy stuff on Cloud9, let's talk about something else that you're one of only few people in town that have an electric car.
Sure.
All right.
Yep.
All right. So first off, just straight out, Landon to Keith, do you like your electric car?
I really do, and I'm not sold on electric as the way of everything moving forward. Hydrogen vehicles, that's going to become, I feel like, the next big thing as far as shipping and large trucks. But I've had my car for about 3 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've had very little to no problems out of it.
Okay, so talk to us about. I'm a guy that likes to hop in my car and go to Panama City.
Sure.
Do that maybe once every 2 years. Okay.
Right.
Tell me what a trip to Panama City is like in a Tesla.
Yeah. So basically, you hop in your car, you type in where you're going.
Okay. First off, you don't just hop in your car. Right? You got to charge it overnight, or what happens?
So you absolutely get in the habit of every time you get home, you plug it in.
Okay.
It becomes second nature. You don't forget to plug it in. The first time you do, and you're trying to go somewhere, you realize,
Now you're stuck.
now you're taking the gas vehicle. But as soon as you get home, you always plug it in, charge it. You always charge to about 80%. You don't want to charge it all the way up unless you're planning on going on a large trip, just to take care of your battery a little better. And then.
So there's not technology that will take care of your battery. You actually have to do that yourself.
Well, so when you get out of the car, generally it's set to only charge up to 80%.
I see.
Oh. And then you do have to remember, though, when you're going on a trip, you got to bump it up and tell it, hey, I want to charge to 100%.
Okay.
So I forgot to do that a few times, which led to having to stop and charge. Whereas I could have made it there and back, but you learn to remember to do those things.
Okay, so I went to a class and we had some electric vehicles there, and they talked about range anxiety.
That's a real thing.
Is that a real thing? So when you own the car, you have range anxiety.
You can. Yes.
All right. So take us back into the trip. What is it like? You've made a full charge, and where are you headed out to? What's the longest trip you made in your car?
The longest trip I've made, I believe, is to Kansas City and back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's further than a beach, isn't it?
I would say so.
All right. So talk to us about that Kansas City trip, what it was like.
Sure. So basically, I knew where I'm going. I put in my address to where I'm planning on making it to, and then it plans your stops for you, and it says, "Hey, you're going to stop at this charger and this charger." I believe it was two stops.
And how much average time?
Did you have to get a room for the night or anything?
No, it's not that bad. You've got to make sure you stop at the Tesla superchargers, and now TVA is actually coming out with some superchargers as well. But if you stop at the superchargers, it takes about 20 to 30 minutes generally, and they put them in places where it's easy to spend 20 or 30 minutes.
Like Buc-ee's has them now,
yes,
and you can spend 30 minutes in Buc-ee's and
Just waiting in line.
yeah.
You can spend 30 minutes walking from the gas tank to the store part.
I'll just be honest with you. I spent 30 minutes looking for my wife. I've lost her. And I was telling people when I was walking by, I've lost my wife. I can't find her. So.
Right. Well, and at Buc-ee's, they also put the chargers pretty good distance away from the.
Yeah, so it's a 10-minute walk into the store and back.
So it encourages part of that, weight loss journey too.
There you go. So yeah,
There you go.
Multi-purpose tip. You need an electric car.
The only problem is they've got those brisket sandwiches in there, so
Makes up for the walk. No,
that's right.
So did you go in the wintertime or summertime?
That was about the fall.
Okay, so you had the air conditioner on anyway.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and there is a difference. You actually get better range in the summer.
Really?
Yes, on the newer vehicles, they've now more efficient in the summer than they are in the winter.
Okay.
They used to be much less efficient in the winter, but they've recently put in heat pumps, which is a much more efficient type of heating.
I see.
So,
wow, that's pretty good. That's good to know.
Yeah.
That's good to know. So you had to stop twice going out there?
right.
All right, so like where? How far did you make it? Did you make it to Memphis?
No, I think we stopped in St. Louis first. I'm pretty
That's
sure
past
that's
Memphis.
right.
Oh, so you didn't go to Memphis. I've never been to Kansas City. I have been to Kansas City, but that's right. You go through St. Louis, and it's all the way at the end of the state over there.
Right. Yep.
So is there anywhere west of the Mississippi to charge your car?
Believe it or not, there's
No, it's a void out there. There's nothing else.
You know, I'm living on this side of the Mississippi, you know.
right. Well, believe it or not, Tesla's actually done a really good job of getting superchargers on interstates.
Yeah.
If you venture off the interstates a little ways, or you're driving out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a different story.
Okay, so here's the next question. You charged up for 30 minutes.
Right.
And how much did that cost?
It costs about $5-6.
What?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
That's a lot better than a tank of gas, ain't it?
Well, I mean, did you get a full charge? What did you charge up to?
Okay, so yes, that's another thing. When you stop at the charger, it actually says, "Hey, I need to stay here 20 minutes to get to the optimal charge to get to the next charger."
Yeah.
So you're not charging all the way up to 100%. You're charging
Wow.
up to about 80%.
But you never went down to zero either.
Oh no.
Okay.
I have a friend that's done that. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Oh yeah. That's not a fun experience.
So what do you do when you do that? You pull the generator out of the back and put gas in it, start it up, and charge it up?
You know, the AAA people, they've actually started carrying generators with them.
Yeah.
Because it's easier to charge it for 30 minutes to get it somewhere to a charger, ideally.
Then to tow it somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And from what I hear, it's not super easy to get those vehicles on the tow truck. But
I can see
Hey,
that, yeah.
there's other things it's not easy to do. It's not easy to get cats out of those cars. Have you heard about that, Jeff?
No, I haven't heard about that.
Just tell them the story, Kevin. You got to tell.
Well, Charlotte calls me panicking and said, I need help. I won't tell you what she said, but I need help with a car. And so we end up having to pretty much tear your car all apart to get the cat out. That was the most elusive cat I've ever seen in my life.
Crazy.
Landon had a cat in his car.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Was it the cat that's supposed to live here in the studio? Was it that cat?
No, it wasn't that cat. But I was pulling into the radio station one day, and somebody pulls in behind me, and I get out of the car, and they're like, "Hey, your car's meowing." And I'm like, "No, it's not."
Teslas do that out here.
And you know, sure enough, waited around a couple of minutes, and then I heard it meowing, and I was like, "Uh-oh, this is not good." And you know, look under the hood. There's not an engine there. It's just you know, plastic.
Yeah.
Like a storage compartment. So we were like, "This is great."
It has
Look
all
under it,
panels. It's all flat underneath panels.
So you raise the hood, you can't see the ground. Then,
Yeah,
you know.
no, you
Okay.
definitely couldn't see a cat.
You could hear, you couldn't see the cat, but you could hear him. It was pretty cool. He had a.
So where did he get in at? Was there a hole somewhere for it to get in?
I think in the wheel wells.
Yeah.
Had to have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he probably where the steering come through the wheel well. I mean, he could get a cat can get through. You know, anything. He can get his whiskers through it. He can get his body through it. So.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
We're learning a lot of stuff here today.
We're
Jeff.
learning.
Oh, man, it was not fun.
So there was a cat trying to steal the car.
Yeah.
There's still a ride.
Still a ride.
Yeah.
Well, if he'd got through across the two terminals, he would have
Oh,
been
he'd be fried.
like
it
that
cooked him.
on Christmas vacation.
Yeah.
Fumigate this thing.
Ooh, we spent all night.
All right,
I
so
almost gave up.
Yeah, we about ready to.
I was thinking, you know, it got in there. It can get itself out.
That's right. It's on its own.
no, you don't want that thing dying in there.
No,
it would
you
be
don't,
horrible.
but whew.
It'd be horrible. But okay, so we're on this journey to Kansas City, and Kansas City, Kansas, or Kansas City, Missouri?
Kansas.
Kansas. Okay, it's just right across the line.
Yeah, they're right there.
We're all together.
We're in the same car now. All right. So was you by yourself? So here I'm trying to bring up all these things that people are scared about electric cars. So if you take your friends, you get less mileage.
No, it doesn't. It does not. It's not affected that badly.
Really? Okay.
You know, if you load it down with a bunch of luggage, that's what'll really change your range.
Well, Kevin's like carrying luggage. Kevin's probably 4 times the weight of my luggage.
That's right. I never bit 125 pounds.
Yes, 4 people would make a big difference. But I was traveling with a pretty lightweight friend, so
Okay.
that made it not too bad.
Okay.
No, we were going to there's an Air Force base up there, and my friend is a B-52 pilot, so I want to go check those out.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, so that was a cool trip.
Did you get to ride in the B-50?
I didn't get that. They wouldn't let me do that. I know.
Oh man, that would have been a.
Oh, it'd been nice. It'd been awesome to see him though.
Yeah.
Up close
Those
like
things
that.
are
Yeah.
monstrous. Aren't
Yeah.
they?
Right. Oh yeah.
Pretty cool to say you got a friend that flies one too.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I haven't ridden in your car, but my friend Charlie Edwards has a Tesla also,
yeah.
and I've ridden in Charlie's, and it's all about the integration.
You know what's funny? When he
it?
got his car, he didn't have a charger,
Yeah.
so he was charging up at my building.
Yeah, we come down by there. He said, I charge my car here once in a while. I said, yeah, it's cool.
Thinking, oh well, when I
But they have
my
one
food
now.
trucks up to your gas station, help me out.
Exactly. Scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. There you go. But they do have charges. Have you charged at their place?
I have not yet. I've got to get a different adapter.
Okay, I was wondering
charge
about
that. But that's becoming there's two big standards. Tesla is actually, they've partnered with Ford, and Ford is actually going to be utilizing their charging standard.
Right.
And
GM's not going to partner with Ford, period. So we're going to use a different technology altogether. But we're using, I think, what's the standard technology, though.
right, I think that is a direct implementation with what they have at Shell and Leoma.
Okay.
It's same kind of adapters there.
Right.
But I have to get an adapter to charge on those new TVA stations.
Right.
So.
Well, that's pretty cool. But most of the time, you just carry it around in the trunk of your car. When you're talking about adapter, it's just a little short cable or something like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's pretty cool. A lot of folks had questions about, they're scared about the range anxiety more than anything about driving an electric vehicle. But I think I would like it. And they're pretty fast, aren't they?
They are.
So
something about instant acceleration.
There you go. So let's move back to Cloud9. You own Cloud9 here. You started out as ABG Wireless, and you have moved into the fiber optic business.
Yes.
And so if you're going to be providing data or internet to people's homes, fiber is the way to go, I believe.
Oh yeah,
And
I think it's going to be the long-term solution, hopefully, for a lot of internet and broadband related needs.
Right. I've been in electronics since the late '80s, and I've seen fiber optics back then also.
Right.
And so it's not outlived its purpose. I've seen a lot of things come and go, but
Right.
fiber optics is still there. And even those single mode fiber optics that we started out with back in the late '80s and '90s are still around. They still have their purpose. And you guys probably use multi-mode fiber, I'm sure. And
It's single mode.
is it single mode?
Yeah.
So you got laser-driven stuff, or what do you
Right.
got?
Yeah.
Wow.
So single mode actually
Well, wait a minute.
carries the distance.
Hold on just a
I
minute.
told you we were going to nerd out a little bit.
Hold on just a minute. For those of us who haven't studied this, we don't know what you're
Exactly.
talking
Yeah.
about.
Okay, so there's different different characteristics of fiber optics, and the two main prevalent are single mode and multi mode. All right,
correct.
and I don't know enough to nerd out. He does, but just in a general term, single mode fiber is. It carries a specific wavelength, and it's more of a direct line type of fiber, and so lasers typically drive that. Whereas in multi-mode, you can have more than one light source. Single mode fiber, you have a single light source going down the pipe.
Okay.
Multi-mode fiber, you have multiple light sources that go down the pipe, and those are typically LED driven. And so anyway, I got some stats on it in case. But single mode fiber,
Of course you do.
single mode fiber can carry 32 terabits per second on. So,
Yeah, that's
a
about
lot of.
that's pretty much my consumption level.
Look,
right there.
but you know what? We sit here and laugh, and we say, well, who in the world will ever use 32 terabits? I remember back in the day that we used to put in what we call 10 base 2,
Yep.
which is 10 megabits, and it had a capacity to transmit that over 200 meters. At the right termination, you had to have the wire had to have the perfect impedance to do that, and we thought nobody will ever reach the limits of this. Nobody will ever use 10 megabytes of data. And listen, you cannot get by with 10 meg of data right now. It can't live on it. So fiber is the way to go. And so he's using single mode fiber. And he brought some samples here. So I just want to show you guys. And you won't be able to see this on the camera much. But this is the big cable is what's running down the road.
Right.
And the way you can tell the fiber cables is that as they're going down the road, you'll see these service loops in them. They've got like a little round loop, and you know, hey, that's fiber optic, because you can't just bend it. You got to have it bent at a certain angle. And I'm going to deconstruct this just a little bit. I'm going to take the yellow one out if I can. So that is, now look, that's got a coating on it.
Yep.
So the glass is actually inside that carries the data. And
Right.
so that right there can carry 32 terabits of data per
I'm going to
second.
tell you something you're not going to believe.
What?
I actually have terminated.
Man, you're awesome.
Wow.
All right,
I've actually terminated fiber optic.
Okay, so
Wow,
how did you
I didn't know
terminate
that.
it?
Well,
What method did
we
you
had a little
use?
device that did it for you, and you'll never guess where I did it.
Where? In the back of an AT&T truck?
The test wind tunnel over at the Air Force Base in Tullahoma.
Okay.
Well, that's pretty cool, man. That is cool. So
about
you
that?
have seen. I'm going to show it to Kevin in case Kevin has strand of fiber. Now,
what's
so are you running
one-
60? Are you running 9 micron, 62.5 micron? What kind of fiber? What kind of fiber?
It's 62.5.
62.5 microns. So it could be multi-mode if you wanted to be, but 62.5 microns. 100 microns is about the thickness of a human hair. So what you have in your hand is probably twice as thick as a human hair.
Right.
So there, you can tell how much coating and protection is on the glass that's in the center, and you can't see that until you look. And Jeff, if you've terminated, you've actually probably looked through a microscope or a hand scope and saw what that looks like. Sort of looks like a corn dog. If you like cut the end off of a corn dog, that's what it would look like. And I'm hungry, so that's what I'm going to describe it as.
That's a good way to describe it.
And so, anyway, it's amazing what a little piece of glass, how much data that can carry.
So with this one piece of glass, I can actually connect about 256 households.
There you go.
10 gig internet.
With just one of these.
Yeah, with 10 gig internet, that's unbelievable. I mean,
And
drop the microphone. I'm leaving. You know, my goodness. So,
All right, so here's my question. All right, so when you see somebody, I know yours is not buried, but if it's buried fiber optics, we get them signs everywhere, and they dig it up
Right.
accidentally.
Oh, yeah.
So do you have to go in there and find the same colored little wire like
that
it?
is correct.
Oh, yeah.
That's why it's $10,000.
And then you got to put them. Not only that, you've got to put them together perfectly.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
They've got to be fused back together.
So that's
or
why a
butted
poor
in
little guy
together.
sits in that little bitty trailer and he's sitting there.
Yeah, he's doing them one at a time.
Seems like I remember you had to be relatively
You want that
careful.
back?
These can puncture your skin too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, these
It's not fun.
These can
No.
get
Ooh.
it's glass.
Yeah.
Yes.
So did you polish yours and all that kind of stuff?
Honestly, I had no idea what I was doing. Really, I was in over my head, but
Yeah.
they needed help terminating, and they were redoing the controls for the wind tunnels
Yeah.
over there. I worked for DRM at that time.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
and
okay.
They're
one of our customers,
yeah,
actually.
DRM here in town deals in that kind of technology. But I was really over my head. I was there just kind of helping, and I was a fetcher toter. But they did show me how to.
A fetcher toter.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I was a fetcher toter.
Yeah, I like that.
That's basically what I
He was
did.
a real go-getter.
Yeah.
But I did get to see those wind tunnels and the electric motors that drive the shaft. That's almost so big you can't reach around it.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
But that have those fan
I
blades.
think that's cool.
Pretty
as all
doggone
get
awesome.
out. So the fiber here, it's just. I can remember terminating those things, and I thought it was just whoever came up with. They had an epoxy that wouldn't set till you evacuated the air out of it, and so you did that by pushing the glass through it. And whoever thought that up is a genius. I mean, 'cause it took forever. Used to take forever to get that to go through the termination point and then get it epoxied in. So.
You probably want to put that back in your little case.
Yeah, you might make a paintbrush out of that. I doubt I can get it to go back in the same wire. But inside that cable on the road, how many cables are inside the burial cable
So
or
we
the aerial
run
cable?
the trunk cable that goes down the road.
Yeah.
We run 48, 96. No, right now, our largest cable is 96.
Okay.
We've learned it's easier to run more cables in some areas than it is to run a super large cable where if something ever happens, you got to sit there and splice every single one of them back
So
together.
let me ask you a question. So that brings up this question. So let's say that one of your service areas is like Springer Road, right?
Right, yeah.
So you got Springer Road going down there. Do you just have a single fiber live down through there, a single fiber, or you got multiple fibers live that you can just pull off and do whatever?
So basically, the way it all works, we've got two cables that go. One goes down Douglas to Springer Road and goes down Springer, and then from Springer, it's going out. Actually, we've expanded to New Prospect.
Okay.
Then there's another one that goes down. I believe it's 2nd Avenue, that feeds that area right by Ingram's Howell and all those households
Yeah.
there. So, and then at every road.
But you're
basically-
talking about a trunk line is going down there.
Right.
So in that trunk line, do you have all 60 of those fibers live that you
So-
can pull off of any one of them? Or
So what's cool, I found the best way to expand the cabinets here without having to basically make all those fibers live on the front end.
yeah.
So as we need more fibers live, we actually come here, patch them into it's called a G-PON, and then that fiber's live where it can then service those 32 or 250 households.
Okay. So how do you like when it comes to my house? How does it split off? Do you have to put a repeater somewhere on the pole that repeats that signal back down to me?
we actually use splitters, and what's cool about those is they don't require any power. So that's where things.
But what about signal degradation?
Right. So that's how that works. So basically, we have to make sure we have a optimal light level, obviously, by the time at the end of all the splitters. Each splitter, we can use different splitters to split the proper amount of light.
Right.
So there's like a 95-5 splitter. Then there's a 50-50 splitter.
Okay.
And then that's separating the amount of light, but depending on that splice case, if there's 4 homes there or if there's a possibility there's going to be 8 homes there, that depends. That's how we decide how many plug-ins, if you will, on the pole that we put there.
Okay.
So
it's actually fiber to the home, though, FTTH, right?
That's correct.
So you don't come out to a box. You don't feed a box with fiber and then come copper into the house.
Right.
So I think I didn't know that. I learned that today. So basically, in copper technology, you can't split. You can't split it. All right. You have to repeat it. And every time that you repeat it, you take some off of the bandwidth. Mm-hmm. So if you start off with like 10 meg, and you repeat that twice, you're down to 2.5 meg by the time it comes out of that second repeater because it has to repeat.
Absolutely. And another thing you have to think about is managing all those devices out in the field. Like you see other companies have boxes on the poles, and those actually they have to manage the power, they have to manage all these different things there, batteries, and that's what leads to a lot of unreliability issues is having to manage all of those data cabinets out in the field.
Yeah.
So basically, we have just fiber between your house and here at the radio station.
Okay.
So that helps reliability a whole lot.
Okay.
Not having all those devices out in the field and making sure, if the power goes out, your internet doesn't operate.
Yeah. So anytime there's a failure, you're looking for the point of failure. So you don't have to worry about power being a point of failure at any point.
Right. Yeah.
So okay.
And then here we've got a generator, we've got battery backups, we've got all that kind of stuff to make sure that the internet here is online, and it at that point your house has to have power, or you've got to have the battery backup in order to sustain the internet. But it's there.
Right.
If you
most people know that if the power's off of the house, they don't call you and say, "Hey, my internet's down," because they know, hey, the power's off.
You'd be surprised, though.
I know. I've been there, done that, and it's like, well, they cut the power off down the road. My computer's not working. Well, is your refrigerator working? No. So there you go. Oh my goodness. So that's pretty neat. So you guys provide all the way, I guess, to the distribution point in the house, whether it's wireless or Cat5 or whatever Ethernet type. So are you responsible for that box, or am I responsible for my own box, or how does that work?
So we've got a managed router service, and we partnered with a company called Plume, and that actually we can give you as much control of your network as you want or as little as you want. Most people around here, they don't want a lot of control.
Yeah, but I do.
They want us to take care. Sure.
So I'm being serious. I do. I want control of my IP range. I want all that kind of stuff.
Well, that's cool. But the managed routers.
Did he say that he wanted control of his?
No.
His range.
His range. That's what I thought he said.
IP range, right?
IP range, yeah.
How far he pees.
What?
I got it.
Address range. The Internet Protocol address range. Yeah. So whether you know it or not, every computerized item you have in your house today has an IP address.
Yes, I did know that.
So that's the world we live in. But most of the time, well, not most of the time, inside your house, you have a private address. There's routable IP addresses. There's non-routable IP addresses. So I want to be in control. And number one, I want some static routable IP addresses. Right. And Landon knows what that means. I want to be in control of my static routable IP addresses, and I want to be in full control of my private IP addresses, if you know what I mean. So some routers will let you do that, and some will not. So
yes, that is true.
You get all that?
I wrote it down.
Sounds to me like you was drinking your drink.
I'm an audible learner.
I told you we was going to be nerds today. Thank you.
I just hope there ain't a test.
Well, listen, you talked about the fiber in that world, but I have Cloud9 service, but I'm on the tower.
Oh yeah.
I live out west of town.
Yeah.
And mine's coming through the air.
So you still got the wireless Cloud9.
Yeah, and it's good service.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will say.
You know, having to take care of that network has been the fun part, because a storm will come through, it'll sap a tower, and then you got 200 customers offline, and then your tower climbers are 2 weeks out. I've gone up some of these towers to make sure y'all have internet.
Yeah, we don't mean to be trouble for you.
No.
But
You need a collapsible tower that brings it down to eye level.
Yeah, exactly.
Telescopic towers do it.
But we've had very few outages, and it has been usually because of a storm.
Right.
You know, that kind of thing. But anyway, the service is strong. I mean, we have no trouble with streaming movies or whatever.
Sure. So with wireless, that is certainly, it solved a large purpose back when most of our county had DSL or lots of those other. DSL was primarily, if you were lucky enough to have DSL even.
Come on, go further back than that. I mean, let's go. Oh man, keep going, keep going. Yeah, dial up. Y'all remember dial up?
Oh, yeah. I do. I do remember dial up.
Oh.
But
I love that noise.
But when it happened, but it was so cool.
Yeah.
Back then, I mean, that's what we had.
Yeah.
And the internet was new. And I remember waiting on all that to go through.
Oh, yeah.
So I could just play chess with somebody.
Oh, there you go. Did you know that when you listen to that, you could tell how fast your connection was by listening to how far it got into the sequence?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
If it stopped early, you got a low connection. You know, hang up and do it again. But yeah.
No, we didn't know that. No, we were just happy to get connected.
That's
yeah,
right.
we were too. I was tickled to death. I love that noise. That then, that was probably the. So I grew up. I had a business fixing computers, and a lot of work back in those days was when lightning struck the house. Even today, if lightning strikes your house, the power system is designed to absorb most of that. You know. But your computer's not. And if you had a modem hooked to it, it's coming straight to it. That phone line was the killer of more computers than anything that I know of. So modems really drove my business for a while.
Yeah. Well, I didn't mean to knock you off topic. I just remembered so.
No. So that's a good subject. So I read online before I came here today that 90+% of households in America have some type of internet access, and so now and we found this out in our house too, and we've been talking about this on a couple shows before today, that most people have internet and they have cable TV service,
right.
And they may have other services that they are using the internet for, and they may be redundant. So if you got a smart TV today and you have internet, cable is redundant for you.
Right.
So you're paying for something you don't need.
Absolutely.
And so. But you guys, are you branching out into that? Because you got to be bringing the fiber to people's house for a reason. So the reason is everybody uses the internet, but is there other services that you guys provide that may be helpful for those?
Certainly. So basically right now our core focus is expanding the fiber network, getting internet to everybody. But there will come a point when it doesn't make sense to continue expanding, more than likely. Just because there's so much grant dollars out there, and there's so many other companies that are expanding very quickly.
Yeah, after the same kind of dollars and after the same customers. Yeah.
So I'm already forward looking into what other services can be provided on the internet service that we provide to the customer.
Okay.
We've started a TV network, and right now that has access to local sports, local weather, our local radio stations are on there as well. And basically, I've already got that platform ready to be able to offer a full TV offering as soon as I decide to flip the switch.
Sure.
So.
Well, I would think it'd be a great service because you guys are providing high-speed internet to the home.
Right.
It'd be a great service. Say, hey, look, you got this high-speed internet. You can cancel your cable service, because here's what and this was my problem. I didn't know how to make the jump. All right. I'd never used an app on my TV before. There, I've seen them there, but I had never used them. But once I started using them, I thought, I don't need this other junk.
Right.
I can save $300 a month.
Isn't it crazy? It is.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. There's certainly a lot of people that are tremendously overpaying just for what they're used to.
Absolutely. And like you got Dish, right?
Just
so
went
how many
through that.
So how many channels you got in Dish?
I don't even know. I mean, honestly,
A couple hundred.
Yeah, a couple of hundred.
So how many did you watch?
Probably 3 or 4.
Yeah, there you go. So even in itself, you wasn't using it for what it was.
Since I've been talking to you, I've actually ended that.
Oh, so you cut the cable?
I cut it off.
Oh,
There you go.
So how's it working out?
Let
for
me
you?
let me say this. if you call them to cancel your service, I'll complain a little bit.
That they'll almost give it to you.
They put you on hold. I've got to send you to another department, sir. They put you on hold, and you will wait. So far, I've never talked to anybody. I had to go in. What I did is I went in and I terminated my card with them. So I'm going to make them call me. I still have it, but they're going to play heck get me to pay them for what they've been saying. Because I've tried to cancel with them for 2 weeks, and would be put on hold for half an hour at a time.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Wow, that's poor.
So I was like, well, I'm done. So I went in and on my account took the card out, and so they can't hit my card, so they're gonna have to figure it out. I'm still getting it.
Yeah.
But I've tried to terminate service with them for a solid 2 weeks, and I finally just got mad and quit.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we're talking about Dish Network.
That's
Yeah, no,
That's what we're talking
We're
about.
not talking about Cloud9.
I'm not talking about Cloud9. I'm talking about
Dish
Dish
Network.
Network. So, and that's the honest. And listen, I even had my assistant at work call for me, and she waited on hold for half of her lunch break,
Yeah. And it's getting
and it never did get anybody.
That's unbelievable.
and that's one thing I take a lot of pride in is having local customer service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you call us, you're calling.
That's right.
You calling here. You know where we live.
Anyway, I didn't mean to get mad, but I just got mad about it.
Well, I'm glad you did. Sometimes it takes getting mad.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a couple more questions that I've got down here. Obviously, you just don't wave a wand in the air and get internet. Somebody has to backhaul that service for you.
I wish I could. There's been jokes about just launching a satellite above Lawrence County.
Yeah, there
you go.
We got a tall enough tower. You ought to be able to pick up something.
Just throw it from the tower.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, but yes, there's a lot of these rural customers that I wish I could just wave a wand and it just be there. But
Yeah.
it's a tremendous amount of work to bring fiber throughout the county.
Yeah.
But we've made really good strides in finding the most efficient ways to do that, and we're working towards getting into some more of these rural areas. I know everybody's been biting at our feet, trying to get us to come to some of the rural areas.
What's the roadblock for you for expansion? What's the roadblock? Obviously, it must cost a fortune to do it. I can't even imagine. We won't even talk cost, but what other roadblocks are there?
There's lots of hoops you have to jump through as far as permitting and those sorts of things.
So you and I know about this, but Kevin and Jeff and our listeners don't know about this permitting deal. All right, so let's talk about that a little bit.
Sure. So basically, the polls with LUS, which LUS does, they've worked.
The city owns the polls, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But they've done a really good job working with me and trying their best to make it as an efficient process as possible. So kudos to them for that. But it is a lot of extra work to keep up with all the permitting, all the pole attachments, and
So you pay per poll, right?
oh yes.
So you guys don't know this, but a big revenue stream for the city of Lawrenceburg is we rent out space on the poles, and but here's the deal though, is that Spectrum was the biggest customer,
Sure.
and AT&T and Spectrum, I guess, are the two
Yes.
biggest customers. But the FCC ruling on that says, and they've worked their way around this, and it's providing certain services to your house. Well, they get around that by saying we're not providing cable TV to the house anymore. We're providing internet service, and we're riding cable TV over the top of
Sure.
it. So they're like, we don't owe that. So it's I'm telling you, it's a legal debacle.
It is.
More than anything else.
Oh my gosh.
So you can't just go hang things on the pole,
No.
Especially if you're a business. You can't just run your wire on the pole, and that's because you're thinking, well, just run it out to Richardson Acres. Well, you can't do that.
No.
It's unbelievable. You got to be
what is rent? Well, how much is rent on a pole?
It's $27 last year. It scaled. It fluctuates.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it depends on how nice the pole is.
It's $27 a pole a year. So if your driveway's 10
Are you?
miles
Hang on,
long-
time out. Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Okay, that
The national
flabbergasted me. that it's
National
that high.
average is 5. Yeah,
National average is 5, but Lawrenceburg is 27.
it is 27. So that's the root of what I feel.
Blake
a lot of-
Mayor Lay has a revenue stream there.
Let's get him back in here.
Let's get him back in here. We're going to run him over the coals.
So I called the FCC on this actually.
Okay.
And TVA is exempt from the national.
Of course, because they're part of the
FCC poll
government.
rates.
Yeah, because they're
Yes.
part of the government.
So they can set how they want to.
That's
They can
right.
Set the rates how they want to. So. That is just part of what you got to deal with.
So did you think, well, he's
I'm
only
holding my tongue.
I'd say that's the root of our area's problems is those poll rates.
I can see where that would be a problem. Yeah.
They'd rather expand in an area where poll rates are $5, $6, $7 a poll than
Sure.
an area where it's 27.
All right, so let me ask you this: is it
Yeah.
$27 a poll for you or for everybody?
It is for everybody.
Okay, so AT&T is going to run into the same that
Right. They were
Spectrum runs
grandfathered
into.
in to their old rates for a period of time. But
Okay.
it should be for everybody. So.
Wow.
And I got to get polls.
So
Of course,
let's-
their cables are,
Yeah, they're big cables.
ginormous.
So let me ask you this: who backhauls for you?
So I have actually 2 providers.
Okay.
Got to have some redundancy, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I get internet from Cogent Communications. They're basically like an internet provider for internet providers or large businesses.
Okay, so they're fiber here. Then they come fiber to you then.
Right, and then I also have AT&T is my primary.
Okay.
I've learned AT&T does a really good job of keeping low latency to all these
That's
streaming
right.
services and best peering, just because they have the best national network, in my opinion.
Yeah. And so I have redundancy in my place. I have Cloud9 and I have
Oh, yeah.
AT&T, and so I have AT&T business class service there. And,
Right.
And when I worked for Edwards Oil Company, we had AT&T business class service, and I was there for years. And I cannot ever remember the fiber going down ever. Our fiber service is going
Except
down,
for
except
Christmas.
for the bomb that went
Yes.
off in Nashville.
Yep.
When that bomb went off, everything went off.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's unbelievable.
And I believe that made AT&T's network so much stronger because that showed everybody how even if they build the best redundant network, how
Yeah.
there's still susceptibility.
Yeah. Had you ever been in that data center where that bomb went off?
I have not. No.
I actually did get
Are you
to it.
serious?
I had been in that data
Well, you get to
center.
nerd out with us
Hey,
today.
never guessed.
So you have terminated fiber and you've been in that building. So
I've
you're
been
a
in that
nerd.
building.
You might be the biggest
Wow.
nerd I know.
I didn't know. I didn't say I worked on anything in there. I was just in there.
But they just don't let anybody in there.
We were looking. At that time. I was with Lee Company.
Yeah.
And we were. I sold maintenance contracts on the building facility itself, so I had to go in the facility and see all the what was there.
Did you go before or after the bombing?
Well, it was before, long before.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've been in your business for a while.
Yeah, long before.
Okay.
How about that?
Wow.
That's
Would've
pretty
never
cool.
guessed.
So, I'll be honest with you, I didn't know the building was even there until the bomb went off.
It's one of those. It's a
Yeah.
nondescript building. You've been by it 100 times and never noticed it was there. In fact, when I first went, I never have noticed that building.
It's got no windows in it or anything.
It was
right?
just, and it's right there in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And you were like, you just passed by it and not paid any attention.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yep.
And it's for somebody to know to park right there and blow that thing up. Is
Well,
just-
they knew what they were doing.
oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was the only time that we lost. So you got a great backhaul providers then.
Sure.
So your service can only be as dependable as those that serve you.
Absolutely.
And so that's what I was wanting to get at because
Right.
you've got some great backhaul providers.
That's one thing I've taken a lot of pride in is I feel like a lot of internet companies find that they can cut costs there, but I certainly don't spare anything on my
Exactly.
providers.
That's a smart move,
Yeah.
and that's not cheap either. And I'm not
No.
going to ask you what that costs because I know what it just does to feed a single business
Right.
100 megabits,
Oh, yeah.
and you're using that to provide what 10 gig to people.
I do have some 10 gig customers, yes.
Oh my goodness! I can't imagine what the backhaul service for that. What
That
business,
would probably just blow my computer up.
yeah, business class backhaul service. So there's a lot. What I'm getting at is there's a huge cost involved
There
in
is.
providing this service, and in my opinion, to the customer, you're affordable, you're cheap,
Right.
and so I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And so, and maybe the folks that's listening to this show that's thinking about changing around can give you a call
Absolutely,
and see what you got. But as far as town goes, we talked about those roadblocks. So talk about your presence in town, your physical presence in town.
Right.
What about where are you? Where can we get fiber now?
Sure. So pretty much everywhere in the city limits we have coverage. There's some there's some small areas around the square that has been a little hard to get to.
Oh, okay. So you're west of the train tracks.
Oh, we are, yes.
Okay, so that was that a deal?
It was.
So let's talk about that. I mean, we talk about permit and be on the poles. Listen,
Yeah.
for some reason, the world of trains has its own God.
Yes.
All right, and they only answer to him. And you've got to. I'm telling you, I'm being serious. you can't just run a cable across the railroad tracks. I mean, you look up over the railroad tracks and the power lines are going across, and you may have cable TV going across. You think, well, I'll just hang mine on there. You can't do it.
I don't know.
Mm-mm.
You have to get special permission, and it's got to go
Absolutely.
through all these boards and engineers and all these things.
They want you to carry a special insurance to go over. And the quote on that was ridiculous. It's much better to go under.
So did you go under it?
I did, yes.
So was there already things under there, or did you drill it?
We drilled it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You didn't drill any utilities up there or nothing like that?
No, my.
Well, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
And we drilled under the highway, too.
So even if you're drilling under, you still got to get the same permitting and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So when you're at your house, when you're okay, so it's aerial to the house though, so you can't get close to my house and drill to my house.
We probably could work something out.
I don't want to onesie off it there or
the
anything
cost
like that.
the cost per foot is
Yes, you do.
substantial.
You wouldn't have asked.
That's great.
I'm building me a lab. I gotta have better than what I got because
It sounds to me like this whole thing has been a personal quest. It's been a personal quest of Keith Durham to get something he wants out
Oh,
of this
he
deal.
knows. Look, I can see Cloud9 fiber. I can see it, but I can't get it. I'm like, how did I get it in my house?
So this explains the whole thing, Landon.
Oh yeah.
There was an ulterior motive the whole time. I'm so sorry about that.
Oh no, you're certainly fine.
No, so that's news to me. I didn't know that you had already gotten across railroad tracks. So that's awesome. So you serve pretty much everybody in the city limits of Lawrenceburg then.
Yep.
That has pole access.
Sure, and we're growing. We just ran the cables to New Prospect, and the next place we're growing to is Country Club Estates. So
Oh wow.
yeah.
deal.
Hey, you're getting closer to us then.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. I thought, I don't know. It's just I like fast internet. I don't know about you guys, but in my house, you
Well,
really don't.
everybody
You
does.
really don't. You really don't know how much you're dependent
Absolutely.
on the internet until it goes out.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's the everybody's so focused on price, and so
Right.
I've catered to that. But another thing that I think is going to become more prevalent in the future is reliability,
Right.
and I feel like that's where people aren't as they're right now. Everybody's focused on price, but before long, everybody's focus is going to be on price as well, but also reliability.
Yeah,
So.
I agree.
So let me ask you something, and this goes along with my ulterior motive, I guess. So I have Spectrum because it's the only thing I can get in
Sure.
my house. Okay, so I have Spectrum internet there, and I pay more for that service than I could get than I pay at my office for your service
Right.
for double the speed. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
So I appreciate that. But I don't even know where I was going with this now. But okay, I do know.
You're trying to get something for free, I understand.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to word this to where I can get something for free. No, but it's a matter of fact that I can sit at my house and I can tell you when school gets out
Oh yeah.
because with Spectrum, they got that hardwire service comes over copper to your house, and it's a shared bandwidth.
It is.
So the fiber's not a shared bandwidth, though, is it?
It is not as far. So basically, I've built it to where I can ensure that people get the speeds that they pay for.
Right.
It is as far as the light that goes to your house. It is a shared light.
Right, but you can split
But-
light without degrading the
you're not-
service.
yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Like I want my gig customers at any time to be able to speed test a gig and make sure that they're getting what they're paying for.
Wow.
Yeah.
The gig's the word.
It is.
I like it. Gig's
So-
the
so
word.
We're
in other words,
actually
you-
offering 2.5 gig.
You was getting to the point.
2.5?
Yeah.
What
You was
point?
getting to the point that when school's out, your internet slows down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. It does.
Yeah.
And well, you probably can't tell that where you live, but if you live in
Well-
town and you got Spectrum, you can tell when everybody gets home and they're streaming.
See,
you
I'm
know.
kind of surprised because I was kind of expecting we've taken a lot of customers from other companies.
Yeah.
I would have expected their networks to get better because they're no longer having those large bandwidth needs. But I think everybody's using more bandwidth.
So that's what it is. So,
Yeah.
so it prohibits people from expanding their use of the internet. So like right now, my son games, and if he's not getting less than 12 millisecond ping times, he's asking you to get off stuff. Okay, get off the TV. Because it's life or death when you're in a game. It's life or death how quick you respond and stuff like that. So,
Serious now.
yeah, it's serious stuff. And so,
And that brings me to a question regarding the wireless service that we have. It's usually always good, but now if a lot of us are using
Right.
devices, does that affect it?
So there's lots of potential places where there could be bottlenecks. There could be bottlenecks between here and the tower, which I've eliminated most of those. There could be a bottleneck from the tower to the household. And then there's what I find the most common is there's bottlenecks within the household.
The Wi-Fi?
Right.
Okay.
That router that's in your house, if that's a router that you own, most people don't realize that, you should probably replace your router every 2 to 3 years.
Exactly.
Because your devices need more and more internet, and they're using newer Wi-Fi standards.
Okay.
That router.
What's it, Wi-Fi 6 now?
There's Wi-Fi 7 now.
Oh, heck, I got to get a new router.
Well, I probably do too. I probably got one that we've had for I don't know how long.
Well, if you do, yeah, you really need to get one.
That is what we found is generally the biggest bottleneck for most people.
Well, that came up because my kids are doing stuff and I'm doing stuff. Teresa may be doing. We may all be doing something.
Listen, you can have soup. I got high speed. I got 200 meg or so at the house, and you feel that even. Because my wife's in the den watching TV. I'm in the living room watching TV. My daughter's surfing the internet somewhere. My son's playing games. And it stresses the network.
If there's something downloading, and that's another big thing on the wireless network. We offer up to 30 megabits in some area, and I wish I could offer more, but that's just a limitation of the technology.
Sure.
But it's like if a console is downloading a game on that 30 megabits, the rest of the internet in that household almost becomes unusable.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And that's something, we honestly have to tell our customers, look, make sure you tell your kids to start that download right before they go to bed or when people aren't going to be using the internet.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's just something to think about.
Yeah. So, I think...
or Windows updates. Oh
my goodness! Hey, don't get me started on that because that's a show all in itself. Windows will update now even when you don't want it to.
That's right.
So
right in the middle of something.
Yeah, or you got to restart it, you know, and then it takes forever. Do not turn off your computer. That's the
makes you want to poke their eyes out.
Well, the problem is we used to get to manage when that took place, and now it's just we're going to do it regardless.
Right.
And what gets me worse is that they're doing it because Apple did it.
Yeah.
And
well, it must be a good idea.
It's not a good idea. I'm just going to tell you right now, it's a horrible idea. So, oh my goodness. So Cloud9, I looked up Cloud9 in the dictionary and on the Urban Dictionary,
Sure.
and it pretty much says the same thing. It's a state of bliss, an elation, or happiness.
Okay.
And
There you
know
go.
that's pretty good to have a company called Cloud9. That's pretty cool because
Yeah,
what you do when you provide that service to somebody's house,
You're
they're
on
happy.
Cloud9,
They're
right?
happy.
If you're on Cloud9 service, you're on Cloud9.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So tell us something about that women maybe we hadn't talked about today that you wanted to bring out. Is there anything we haven't covered that you maybe want to tell folks?
One thing that most people don't know is that we are getting into TV service, and I'm excited to be able to offer that platform. To people in our community that may have content as far as that they make for church or school, or maybe they're gamers. I'm trying to engage more of our community on that platform. So, or real estate agents, if they want to showcase our community, I could create them their own channels. On
That's cool.
I will be there for that.
That is neat.
There we go.
That's neat.
Yeah, so that's something new that we're getting into, and Ben with Tennessee Valley Weather.
Yeah.
Basically Cloud9 is now generating the streams for weather stations outside of our area. Like we're generating streams for Vermont, Northern California.
Wow.
And so there's a lot to what we're offering our community.
That is.
So, don't do like talk shows, like dealer owners can come in and do a live TV talk show?
We never heard of such a thing.
Where did that get its origins?
Right now, we are actually on our TV service.
Yes, we are.
Through the
cool.
through
Yes, we
DXE.
are.
Oh, that's cool.
How about that?
Well, listen, we've got to check out of here. Landon, thank you for being here today. Thank you for being our guest. We got to nerd out a little bit. We got to learn that Jeff's a nerd today, and so that's pretty
He's
cool.
nerd-like.
He's nerd-like. He's nerdful intentions.
Yes.
So, Landon, you're a local guy.
I'm a hopeful nerd. I've never made it.
So, Listen, come back and join us again next week. We'll have something else to talk about. Come see us at Heritage Automotive,
That's
2122 North Locust Avenue, right here in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. We've got plenty of new cars and pre-owned vehicles, and we got the greatest service department anywhere around. And so you need to come see us.
And a great body shop.
And Kevin's a testament to that.
That's right.
Hey, Landon, tell them how to get in touch with Cloud.
Yeah, there you go. I forgot about that.
Sure, you can call us at 931-201-9098 or stop by our office. So
There you go. Or wave at every Tesla you see.
there you go.
Have a great rest of your day, guys. We'll see you next time.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot.
I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Tel Aviv, Israel, says at least 25 American deaths are now confirmed in the Hamas terrorist attack